Welcome to the Soapbox Sessions. Imagine this, an open and free internet where voices are never silenced, where causes aren't shadow banned, and where no one can be deplatformed. It's real, it's here, and it's happening on Nostr. So what exactly is Nostr? It's a worldwide community of everyday people working to decentralize the internet. On Nostr, you can build websites, communities, social networks, apps, and more. One login works everywhere, you own it, and no one can take it away. No more juggling dozens of platforms, chasing audiences, or managing a giant password list. And the cherry on top? Nostr allows for built-in digital payments that can come from anywhere in the world. On Nostr, value flows as freely as ideas. We're hooked on decentralizing the web, and we think you will be too. So now, let's hear from your hosts, Derek Ross and Heather Larson, who are working to grow Nostr one vibe at a time.
Welcome back to Soapbox Sessions. Today is September 16th, 2025, and we're here with your weekly dose of all things decentralized social and AI. Soapbox Sessions is our soapbox about what's new, what's cool, and what's coming. We want to make it easy to understand and keep up with everything happening in the decentralized world of social communication and AI as we work to rebuild the internet. Heather, how are you doing this week?
Excellent. How are you, Mr. CEO, Debrel, Reverend? How many job titles does the Nostr evangelist have?
I'm a Derek of all trades. I have a lot of job titles, apparently. You know, our listeners don't even know half of these jokes. We're like, they don't know the story like behind the memes. We're going to have to do a show just like talking about all the Derek memes sometime.
All of the crazy stories about you.
About me, yeah, but not this week. The CEO story is kind of funny. We'll talk about that sometime. Maybe we could talk about it right now. Did we talk about that yet?
My best CEO story is the time I convinced a woman in Austin that you were, in fact, the CEO.
Oh, that is right. And she was like, all like, oh my God, thank you. It's so nice to meet you. And like shaking my hand. I'm like, I'm not the CEO. Like, you need to stop this.
So we've basically been calling Derek the CEO of Nostr for years as a tongue-in-cheek joke because Nostr has no CEO. It's just a thing on the internet that people built open source, and like there's no way it's ever going to be a company. Like it's just a thing that you can use. It's a protocol, right?
Well, it's a protocol, so there is no CEO of a protocol.
But since Derek was early obsessed, shall we say, with Nostr,
I like
to the
how
point
you said that. I was an early obsessed user. So I was everywhere doing all the things, helping all sorts of people out.
Yeah, fixing all of the things for people and just obsessively bringing Nostr to the people who either had broken it or needed it somehow to work, and just thought, I'm going to turn the world onto Nostr. And so we decided we would name him the CEO, and at some point he got mad about it, and then at some point I think since then...
Well, yeah, like I'm not really mad, but it's like... I don't want people to think that I'm the actual CEO because there is no CEO, right? Like, so it's a tongue-in-cheek joke, but people that don't know that, they're like, oh, he is a CEO. Like, I thought it was decentralized. Why is there a CEO? Who is this asshole? Like, I don't want any of that.
Which has also happened.
Yeah, there's been people who've been like, wait a second.
There was no CEO. And I'm like,
why are you calling this guy the CEO? Like,
just to annoy him, because it's really easy to annoy you.
Just to annoy me. I was like, they're doing it out of fun and also to annoy me. Like,
yeah, we just anyway, same reason why we meme him.
So what's new in the world of Nostr news this week, Heather? I think we should start off by talking a little bit about that, and then I have some stuff that I want to talk about.
Well, yes, new this week in Nostr. Actually, can I get you to talk about Podstr first? Are you willing? Can we start with that? Let's lead with that.
Okay, so I wouldn't say that is new because we've been dogfooding it.
But there's
over
a
the
newsworthy
past 4 weeks
to it. There's a development.
But I'm about ready to launch it publicly. So maybe by the time this episode comes out in a week, it will be ready and will be launched. So this might be old news to you right now. But anyways, let's talk a little bit about Podstr. So, I don't know, about 2 months ago, I decided that I wanted to do a podcast. And I talked to my friend Heather and said, hey, you want to do a podcast? We like to talk. We should do a podcast. But I have the perfect spin on it.
Mm-hmm.
Since you and I both like vibe coding, what if I vibe coded a podcast platform application, and then we used it. So we use our skills and our new passion, and we actually build a community application ourselves. And I think this goes along with like the whole ethos of Soapbox, empowering people to build their own community. And it allows us to do something in a decentralized, sovereign, permissionless way.
Well,
And
yeah,
we
I
get
mean,
to do a podcast.
we wanted to do the podcast, and there was no way we were going to host this on like some hosting platform that everybody else uses when we have the ability to make our own. Like there
To
was
build
just
our own.
no way we were going to do that. We weren't going to build on somebody else's backyard when we don't have to. And that's not to say that we don't, spread the podcast love out to Apple and Spotify. You can certainly listen to us there, and that's fine. We're even on YouTube. Like, so we're not like mad at the old traditional platforms, but we might as well practice what we preach and make our own, right, Derek?
So Podstr allows us to, as I said, take control of our community. So we can publish all of our podcast episodes and trailers and content directly through Podstr. We can customize it. We can brand it. All of the podcast metadata, like all the information about the podcast, lives on Nostr. All of the episodes live on Nostr and are Nostr native. So we got that decentralized, social communication technology that we preach and talk about all the time, taken care of. But we also have to support. It's incredibly important. But we also have to support podcasting 2.0 because 99.99% of all podcasts out there are using this, like pretty much 100% probably. So we have to support it. So we support both protocols, the RSS Podcast 2.0 protocol spec, and then we also support this brand new spec that I implemented for Nostr. So we get the best of both worlds. And as I said, we get to say that we're dogfooding. So if you're not familiar with dogfooding, it doesn't mean we like to eat dog food, but it's a term that actually came about in the 80s from two different dog food companies. One of them saying that one of the spokespersons for the company actually saying, "Hey, this dog food is good enough. I actually feed my dog." And then another one, another dog food company, well, that was Alpo, and the other one, I don't remember the name of it, but somebody from this company said, "Hey, our dog food is so good, made from natural products. It's good enough for us to eat." And he takes a bite of it. But it didn't actually come to the tech world until the late 80s. Microsoft said that they wanted to eat their own dog food, like these dog food companies did, years prior. They wanted to eat their own dog food and use their own Microsoft products throughout the company. And then they set that trend, and now all major tech companies out there will do this whole dog fooding thing, where that just means you're showing that you trust the integrity of your own products enough to use them, and you're confident to use your own products. So that's what we're doing. We're dog fooding. We're using our own products to produce and serve this podcast to you all.
And every time you say dog food, I have a flashback to driving through central Kansas where there's a dog food factory between Wichita and Emporia State University, which is a whole nother story. But that's just a flashback.
Fact. Okay.
Yeah. Fun facts. Always on the Soapbox
Always
Sessions
fun facts.
podcast.
So you can go to podstr.org and you can learn more about Podstr. You can also download the code, and there's a couple guides there on how to set this up. Now, this isn't for everybody. This is for your hardcore sovereign individual that wants to self-host their podcast. Otherwise, you can use the plethora of other podcasting platforms out there. But if you want to do it in an easy-to-use, decentralized, self-sovereign way, you have that opportunity to do so now. And I don't believe any other platform out there merges Nostr and podcasting in the way that we're doing it. Now, Fountain does some really cool stuff that we aren't doing. Fountain is the leader in this space, but Fountain hosts the podcasts themselves, the episodes themselves, and gives you a whole creator studio. We don't do that, but we do something a little bit different than what Fountain does. So Fountain is still great, and I still recommend using Fountain for the vast majority of people, but there's definitely people that want to take control of their own community, be in control of their socials, be in control of their audio, their video, their images, everything. And if you want full total control, well, now you have another option out.
Yeah, I mean, there's a choice which I like. I am the person who will pay for the platform. Like, I will probably, relaunch Radio Detox at some point and probably do it on the Fountain for Podcasters app because, the one thing about podcasting 2.0 that kind of always I wouldn't say scared me away because I did it anyway. But the thing that I found difficult was I was never going to sit down and figure out how to write out podcast tags and self-host, but if Podster actually makes that easier for me to understand or doing that, because like you're inclined to do that tech portion of it, whereas I am not. I'm
Yeah.
like, I just want plug and play. It needs
And
to just
that
work.
was kind of my target audience, Heather. I wanted to, I wanted to make it Heather proof, as we jokingly, say. I wanted to make it easy enough that you didn't have to have your own private Derek to be able to get it to work.
Yes.
But I wanted
Which I take advantage of.
But I wanted it to be good enough that if you wanted to figure out how to host it yourself, you could. So there's a couple, like I said, there's a couple technical hurdles where you're going to have to deploy the code to somewhere, to some sort of web host, whether that be, maybe GitHub Pages or Netlify or Vercel, or maybe you have a server yourself. But once you have that technical hurdle figured out, it's as easy as filling out a form and uploading files. It's pretty easy.
Making it easier. That's kind
Fingers
of the
crossed,
whole
confidence medium, I'll say. What we'll do is we'll see if it passes the Heather test here. Once we go like full production ready and I release it to the world, we'll say in production mode, which should hopefully happen in the next week or so. We'll let you publish an episode, and if it gets the Heather stamp of approval, then we're good to go, right?
I'm the ultimate tester of all things Soapbox.
Yeah.
If it can pass through me and I don't break it too hard, then it's ready for the world. That's what I do.
That's Podstr. Check it out, podstr.org. Give me your feedback. Let me know what features you'd like to have, and I'll see if fits my scope, and if I can add them, I will.
He's serious about that too, by the way.
I am.
Very serious.
What else we got going on in the old Nostrverse? I'm sorry, the Purpleverse.
The Purpleverse, yeah, purple being the official color of Nostr. So we got old Jack Dorsey, BitChat, and actually, let's just not give a shout out to only Jack, but also Calais, who works on the Android portion of BitChat. But Jack said the other day that BitChat iOS now defaults all internet connections to Tor, full IP address privacy, now in the App Store. So you get a little more privacy with your BitChat now, thanks to Tor. I think that's
Android
cool.
also supports Tor as well, so they should be feature parity there.
Yeah, which Derek being the Android portion of the show, like we just go together because Derek's Android, I am not. I am iOS. Very clearly, iOS person here.
I like my open source mobile platforms. I don't like walled gardens, Heather.
Well, I've been an Apple customer for 21 years, so I am still.
It's never too late to seek freedom, Heather.
I started getting into at least Proton Mail and things like that, so I'm privatizing a little bit more. It's a process.
You know what? I'm going to go off on my own soapbox here for a second. Okay.
Here we go.
Get ready. This is a mobile technology rant. So these mobile tech companies make it incredibly hard, like Android, Google and Apple, make it incredibly hard to leave an ecosystem once you're locked in. They have all of your data. They have like your music is there, your photos is there, your documents is there, your essential whole entire digital life is there, and you can't easily click a button and port all of that over and have the same exact experience on another ecosystem. So this ecosystem lock-in is really, really hard, and unfortunately, 99% of all mobile devices use these two ecosystems. So
there's no competition.
We literally don't have another alternative. Like we had one, maybe if you want to say Firefox OS was or you want to say Windows Mobile, like they had such small market shares that they don't even matter in my opinion. It was cool that they tried and then they gave up because they ultimately failed. But I would love to see some mix up, some churn in this space, another actual viable competitor. But the unfortunate scenario here is that no company will be able to easily compete with Apple and Google. So you're going to have to suffer a multi-year loss, losing billions of dollars in R&D. And to stay competitive on your devices, you're going to have to make incredible deals and sell them, at cost, not make any money on devices, because you're not going to be able to hit the same type of orders that Apple does or Google does. So you're not going to be able to have the hardware contract deals and get the pricing that they can get. There's a lot that goes into this besides just software and saying, hey, create a new platform. And so there's not too many organizations, companies, people out there that say, hey, I can lose $5 billion a year on this project to try to get it off the ground. So,
Right. Well, the
like,
other part of that being the giant cell phone companies, and there's so few
Yeah.
of them now, which, 25, 30 years ago, Derek, you had your pick of a range of cell phone companies, and now it's just, what is it now? Verizon versus T-Mobile. I think it
Verizon,
comes down to.
T-Mobile, and AT&T. And
Yeah.
then all these like little carriers, like, oh, well, what
Three.
about this? They're all these little like no-name carriers. Maybe it's Simple Talk or Cricket or something like that. These are all or Mint. Like, these are all called MVNOs. They're mobile virtual network operators, meaning that
Damn, I didn't know that.
yeah. Used to do in another life, used to do blogging and podcasts for the Android world. So I know a little bit about this. That's why I'm ranting about it.
You're preaching to the choir.
But anyways, these MVNOs, they just essentially buy, we'll say, network capacity from the big 3 or 4 carriers and then resell their services. So you can't get away from them either. But
I never know what
we've
I'm gonna
gotten
get out of
way
you.
far into the weeds here. Like,
know. I
I
learn
could keep
something new
going
every
down
day.
this, but let's bring it back to social and
news.
AI and Nostr news.
Yes. So this is a cool piece of news, actually.
So
Aljaz.
I'll step off my soapbox for a minute.
Step off your soapbox. I'll talk about Aljaz. Give a shout out to one of. There are many Nostr devs, but let's shout out Aljaz. According to Aljaz, there's now more than 140 Nostr clients, and actually more than 450 Nostr apps running in more than 40 countries around the globe, which makes sense because I look at it, obviously lists in English because I'm an English speaker, and so I didn't realize there's that many. And then there are just disparate lists of Nostr apps, like nostrapps.com is one of them. So it's hard to know how many there are. Because again, you sign into one app, you can sign into all with the same, login information. I won't get into the weeds and use the nerdy words to describe it, but there are so many apps. So if you have a Nostr account, you have a Nostr identity, it now will work over 450 apps, interoperable around the world.
And that's only apps that people have submitted too. Like, half of my vibe coded apps are not up there, I'm sure.
Well,
yours are up there.
That's true. Yeah.
Like, there's so many apps that come out every single day that aren't submitted to this list. I would bet easily we're double that number, because
that's overwhelming.
A dozen new apps come out every day, and people only put their most popular, we'll say most successful app up there. They don't put every
totally.
They don't put all the AI slop up there. Like Syncster that I did last week. Syncster's not on that list, right?
Like, how many apps do you and I make a week? I don't think we keep track of it. We just make them and then see what floats.
I'm truly a believer, Heather, that the more ideas we have, the better. It's kind of that old analogy that, you throw a bunch of spaghetti at the wall and you see what sticks. I truly believe that AI is allowing us to do this in the digital space. Like AI is like digital spaghetti, right? So you take this digital spaghetti, you throw it at the wall, and you see which application sticks. So the more digital spaghetti we have, the more ideas we have, the better.
Yeah, like the other side of that is like, when I make apps, I go, well, which one do I really want to use? I think we talked about this last week, though, like how we will create an app and then promise not to walk away from it and keep coming back to maintain it is kind of important. But that was on episode 3.
When you're that's tough to do that too, because we're in the in this digital spaghetti age. You can keep making all the spaghetti you want. Spaghetti's cheap, so
it is.
You can kind of just throw it all at a wall, and then if nothing sticks, that's fine. You just make another batch and throw it at the wall again. We're in the age of, you don't even have to maintain, really. You can just build a new one if you wanted to.
Yeah, as I say, I save all of my prompts and my ideas for my apps, and then I want to
that is a good idea.
later. I can redo it later and go, oh, maybe I have new ideas now, or maybe I'm a little bit more skilled at AI prompting, and maybe I've dreamed up a better way to do this, and our technology just grew better than it was 2 or 3 months ago. So like, let me take this for a spin again. So that's the age that we live in, where that is now a thing, and that's still wow, that's still a
And
lot,
that's really
isn't it?
wild because you don't have to maintain apps really anymore. You can
You can
just
start over.
vibe an update or a new one and start over if you want to.
Some senior dev
So
listening
moving
right now
on
just had
from
a heart
that, it
attack
looks like not.
listening to you say that. Some dev out there was like, no, you have
Yeah,
to maintain that. You have to maintain your code base. All right. So you just made somebody so mad. I know exactly who.
that's okay. You know, Heather, I've learned from the best. Pablo is one of my favorite Nostr developers, and Pablo is a dear friend of mine. I love him. And he's abandoned more apps than I've vibe coded so far.
Oh, yeah.
You
Since
know,
we're talking
we'll
about
see where we're
Nostr
at in a
news.
year.
So do you know anything about Pablo's app was Olas, right? That was a Pablo app,
Mm-hmm.
wasn't it? Okay, so is Olas gone
Yep.
forever?
Yeah.
That's my question. It's gone.
Oh,
It's over. I
no.
want to know.
Well, I don't know. So I was really excited when Olas launched. I was helping
Me too.
Pablo do some kind of marketing on the app and giving, road mapping, giving him ideas. Like I really, really liked the app. And then he kind of abandoned it and moved on to other stuff. And that's why I
Yeah.
made Zappix. I made Zappix because I loved the
Oh.
whole concept of an Instagram style photo app. And I made Zappix because Olas stopped working, was kind of abandoned.
And so you found the hole in the
That's a,
market and made a new app.
that's a great use case, right? An app you want doesn't exist or is abandoned or doesn't work the
Go
way that
make
you
it.
want it to. Well, now I don't have to bug Pablo and be like, hey man, what are you doing? Hey man, what are you doing? Hey man, what's up? I just go make it
I'll
myself.
make my own app. I'll do it myself. We live in the do it myself age,
Do it
right? So,
myself.
okay.
All
Another
right,
piece
so
of
let's
news that we have.
move on from apps here. We
Yeah.
have, what? Watch says there's 850 relays online in more than 40 countries. So Nostr's still going strong. We have tons of relays out there, and
That's
they're
good distribution.
widespread all around the globe.
Good network and
Yeah,
growing, I would
yeah.
hope. So we might make a point to keep following that little piece of information. Now, something I've followed for a while, and I meant for us to talk about it before, but there's so much to talk about in the Nostr and AI world. Do you know anything, since you're Mr. Nostr, about Nostr.band, which is a website that I've used for a long time to keep up on the stats of Nostr, like how many people are using it, how many people are zapping. It's just kind of like it's been for, I don't know, what, a year and a half at least, my health check of how Nostr is growing or not growing. But is there any update on
Yeah,
Nostr.band? Is it dead? Is it gone? Are we going to fix it?
I love Nostr.band. It's a good tool. I've, like you, used it for, 2.5 years, checking out various aspects of, the protocol and search. I don't know. Artur Brugman, developer behind that, he said recently, he commented when people were tagging him saying, hey, your tool's broken, data doesn't look like it's updating, and he basically responded saying, yeah, I know, I've been busy, and that's all we got. So I don't know if there's any real updates on that. I'm sure he's not going to completely abandon it. He's just focusing on other stuff right now, it sounds like, and not able
Yeah.
to fix the issue. So
Maybe somebody else can,
check
since
back
it's
soon,
open
I guess.
source, jump back in and go, hey, like maybe
Well,
I want to fix this. Or
I think that this kind of highlights, if we really do want search and stats, the only really the main provider was Nostr.band. Now there are other search providers out there. There's Nosware. There's some
really,
one of them I can't remember the name.
this is why
There's
I ask you
Nostr.band. Or, I'm
things.
sorry, Nostr.wine.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Um,
you know, yeah, there's like 3 or 4. It's like Nos Search or something like that.
okay,
And
I look for,
I've only ever used it like once or twice.
I use Coracle for that. Like that works for me. I don't know
Yeah,
why,
but
but
yeah,
yeah.
you can use these other search. I don't want to call them search engines, but you can use these other search tools
Okay.
and still do searches, even though Nostr.band is down. But I'll tell you, honestly, the best search out there, in my opinion, is Primal. Primal's
Yeah,
advanced
Primal
search
has
is really, really good.
I think it's the best one. All these things have gotten better since I started on Nostr and really got into it a little more than a year and a half ago. So, it's only going to get better from here. We have only up to go. It's the only place to go. Okay, since you know everything, oddly, about Nostr, since you're obsessed, I have another question for you. Are we still having DDoS attacks on zap.stream? I think we mentioned that last week. So I don't know if there's an update already or not, but I thought I'd
So
ask.
friend of the show, Kieran, he posted that Zap.stream or his whole entire infrastructure was under attack a while
Mhm.
ago. He said that he felt that it was not just a random angry person, like it was like a state-sponsored attack due to
Damn.
the sheer amount of bandwidth, the volume of data that was getting thrown his direction. So
Mm.
I don't know who is doing it. I know that he still struggles with these DDoS attacks. And I also know that 2.5 years ago, February 2023, his Nostr relay and app was blocked by the Great Firewall of China. So
Mm.
maybe state-sponsored isn't, too far out of the question. Who knows? Who knows?
Damn. All right. There's the update on that. Quick update for me. I am testing the RUNSTR app for iOS now. Since I'm the iOS person, I'm doing the test flight. And that is entertaining because the Wild Hustle's still working on it, and I live where it's hot, so I'm in Phoenix, so I can't exactly take long outdoor walks yet. So I'm testing very short walks and very indoor walks. So we're working. If you're into the RUNSTR, it's been Android. We're getting there with the test flight for iOS, so stay tuned for that. And next one,
Now,
this is
Runster's mostly vibe coded. Is that correct?
it is very vibe coded. That is the Wild Hustle has been working on it all year. It was part of the NOS Fabrica Challenge. He's been very obsessed for nearly 3 years with AI, and so he decided, I bet I could vibe code an app, and he did. And that's how Runster happened. He just we
Very
call him
cool.
the Wild Hustle for a reason. He really hustles, and so he hustled his butt off all year just building this Runster app. So now there'll be obviously the Android version, there's going to be the iOS version, and then there's going to be Runster rewards. So you can do some team action and do kind of like leagues and challenges and stuff. So, but first we're going to get it working just
That's very
for,
cool.
tracking your fitness. And so, yeah, there's more to come for Runster, but testing mode right now. Again, I am everybody's tester. I will break your thing. Like, give me something to test. I love it. There's a lot of us in the Nostr world or the purple verse, whatever you want to call it. We love new ideas and testing, and because we may not be devs and we just know that like we can break something, we can make some noise and talk about it and go like, hey, I'm testing this thing. Will you test this thing? Like
Well,
Hive Talk was
where
one of
else
those for
can you
me.
be involved like this in the development process, right?
Exactly, and I'm not a
You can't
dev.
do
Like
that
every
elsewhere.
time I break
It's
something
it's not
for
easy to do elsewhere, we'll say.
That's true. Like, where else can you sign up and test all these apps? And then, like, since I am technically not a developer, like, I use normal people speak to tell Derek, hey, I broke your thing. Or I tell the Wild Hustle, like, hey, I broke Runster again, or I go to Alex Gleason, and, hey, I broke Shakespeare again, So that's, you get a chance to
You
have a
had a
voice.
nice Shakespeare bug the other day.
Oh, God. I tried it again
Like,
today, and it's,
Heather,
yeah.
we do a lot. We're going to jump around here a little bit, but we're talking about app updates. I guess it's not too much jumping around. But so we've been doing a lot of internal dog food testing with Shakespeare
Mm-hmm.
Act 2, like version 2 of Shakespeare recently this week. And that involves us building with Shakespeare, the new version of Shakespeare, trying to find bugs and whatnot. But oh man, my friend Heather over there, she finds the bugs. Now I found one
I don't
too,
even know how.
but her bug was like her
It was
bug was
dramatic.
insane. So
It was it was something that
essentially,
every dev
her
just went,
whole
what?
entire prompt, well, her whole entire prompt was turned into the URL for her website. Like,
Yeah.
essentially, like that's what happened. Like, it was this
It
like
just ran on and on.
ungodly long gobbledygook of run-on words and sentences as the URL. Like, weird stuff happened. But
I
hey,
think
that's good that this bug was found. Now to
Yeah.
figure out if it was like a Shakespeare agent type bug or a LLM just hallucination.
I don't know.
LLM
I tried it again
hallucination.
today. I feel like I might have asked it to do something extremely complicated, but also I do everything in Shakespeare. Like I ask it, "Hey, can you do this thing? Like, do you understand this thing that I want you to do?" And it'll be like, "Yes, I do." And it spits out a big list of like, "Here's what I can build for you." And I'm like, "Okay, do that." And then it's like, "Blah, like, lady, you pushed me too far. I just didn't want to tell you." Because did you see the Bill Maher bit where he talks about how AI just kisses your ass? I feel like sometimes Shakespeare is like, I don't want
It
to tell her I
does.
can't
It
do
does.
it. I'm just going to
It's
tell her
like,
she's
you're absolutely
pretty.
right.
Yeah, and she's great. And I'm just going to do her work for her. And then I'm going to go, just thud.
There's
So
a
I don't know.
meme of like a robot doctor doing surgery on a guy, and it's like, why'd you remove my appendix? I needed whatever surgery done, you know? And it's like, you're absolutely right. I'm sorry I did that. You know, it's like,
It's
you
kind of like
can't go
that.
back.
So I do this so
Oh,
you don't have
man.
to go through this when you finally get
Yeah.
Shakespeare. It won't do this anymore.
Yeah.
So, but that's the fun of working with technology, because I've broken it first so that you can have a good time and not have a bad time, which is what I'm having. But I'm really
Well, you
enjoying
have a
it, so it's
bad
not a bad time.
time, so the rest of the audience doesn't have to. You're
Yeah, I'm
taking one
taking
for the
one for
team, is what I'm hearing.
yeah. There you go. Taking one for
Yeah.
and I'm enjoying it because it's. I mean,
Your
I feel like I got.
frustration leads to our successes, is what I'm hearing. So thank
have
you,
the
Heather.
Yes, the gold star of bug finders right here. Like, I'm almost an exterminator, except I can't fix the bugs. That's for the rest of everybody at Soapbox that has
Well,
a galaxy brain that I don't have.
yeah, but that's okay, because at this level, Nostr allows us to have all of this inside information and communicate with developers and submit these bug reports directly to developers and actually contribute to getting this stuff done. Again, you can't really do that anywhere else. So
No, only Nostr.
this is cool for you, for me, because it allows us to be a part of this like wider development process, building this protocol from the ground up. So we get to experience the wins. When developers win, we win as well.
Right, and we're building better things
So
for everybody.
let's talk about some non-Nostr related AI news.
Ooh, I have
I
plenty
see
of
that
that.
Gemini has been becoming a little bit more popular, blowing up, becoming the #1 app on the App
Yes.
Store, the Apple App Store, and also their own Google Play
Yeah,
App
I was
Store.
actually excited about this
Have you
because
used the new version of
Yeah.
Gemini?
Did you see how okay?
The image editor.
It's called Nano Banana, which is just a funny name.
Yeah.
I don't know. But it's I actually use the desktop Gemini. I don't use the mobile version of this because I don't know. I'm Gen X. I can't do things on my phone. I've got to be on a laptop or desktop to do things.
Certain things need to be desktop or laptop. They do. Like, you can't
I
order
prefer
plane
most-
tickets on a phone. That's crazy.
No.
You got to do that on a desktop.
Ever since I learned that it's better for you to be on your laptop at night than on your phone or your iPad, and unless you put everything, like, you don't have to put your laptop in red mode, but if you put your screens in red mode after dark, that's good for you and your circadian rhythms. But if you're going to be on anything, you should be on your laptop. So now I'm like, oh, well, I'm totally going to be on my laptop. I'm not going to screw around on my phone after dark like a mad person. No, I want to be healthy, right? So anyway, I screw around with Gemini, and the Nano Banana tool is so good. If you have never tried this, I think, God, maybe was it as few as 6 months ago? I think ChatGPT came out with a thing where you could upload a video, and then there was this trend of, like, you would say, like, make my pet look like this. I can't remember the whole trend, but it was like, it took forever. I mean, it could maybe take 45 minutes or something. Like, you knew it would make a cool image for you, but it would take too long. Okay, this is completely different than that. Like, this totally smokes that. So the Nano Banana thing, you just upload an image and say, like, here, do this with it, and it does it. So, like, I uploaded a picture of my cats with their toy, like their legitimate little cloth toy that they play with, where they're staring at the toy. And I said, replace it with a rat. And it replaced it with it looked realistic. And it replaced it with a snake, because I asked it, replace the toy with a snake. And so it looks like my cats were in the kitchen with a big rattlesnake, and I sent it to my friend and to see if she would fall for it, and she didn't, which is good because people should be a little bit smart now with AI being what it is. And really did realistically look like there was a rattlesnake in my kitchen. But that's what Nano Banana does. And instead of taking like 45 minutes like it did when this technology first came out not too long ago, it does it in like seconds, maybe a minute.
Yeah,
And so that's the
it
best
takes
part.
seconds.
Yeah,
So
I'm just
you
amazed.
don't have to use it to edit existing images. You can use it to create new images too,
Yeah,
and they'll be created in a few seconds. You know
yeah.
what my number one favorite thing to do with Nano Banana is to restore and colorize old images. So little personal
That's
note, I had a
brilliant.
grandmother that passed away
That
3 months ago.
that was recent.
So I have all these. I have I have all these old photos that we recently collected for montage of her, and that I scanned in with my phone. There are all these photos from like
Aw.
the 40s and 50s, and I've been colorizing so many of them and restoring so many of them, and it works really, really well. I'll tell you
Oh my
what,
God, I'm
3
gonna
months
try
ago
that.
I tried to do this on ChatGPT, and ChatGPT made my grandmother look like a cartoon in every single one.
Aw,
But
oh,
with
that's
Nano
neat.
Banana and Gemini, oh, it's perfect. They look great. I'll have to send you some of these photos. So
Oh my God,
they're
I'm gonna
really
try that.
good.
I have, because I did my
Yeah.
genealogy, I have all these old black and white pictures of uncles and grandparents, and like I could restore a ton of stuff. We had a giant Polish Catholic family. There's like 500 of us. I mean, that can keep me busy for
There
an
you go.
hour.
This is a weekend. I said this is a weekend project. Restore and
That
colorize
that could
all of
be.
your old family photos.
Oh yeah. That's a great idea. I did not think of that use case. This is why we have Derek Ross, folks. He comes up with the like. I don't even think you sleep. Do you sleep, Derek? Or do you code? Do
I
you code
do.
and
I
vibe code all
do.
night?
No,
Okay.
no, but I'll tell you what I do sometimes as I'm laying there trying to fall asleep, and my brain's just going like 100 miles an hour, and I'll have an idea, and I literally can't. I won't be able to fall asleep until this idea is like written down because I'll be scared to death that I'll forget about it. So I'll be like, ah, damn it, and I'll reach over, I'll grab my phone, type a note, be like, this is I want to vibe code this or work on this or build this or do this or whatever, and it'll drive me nuts. And it also drives my wife nuts too, because she's like, what are you doing? Why are you getting out of bed and going downstairs? So because I need to do this thing real quick. I'll be back in 5 minutes. If I don't do it, it's going to keep me up all night. And I just got to do it. So, but I
You
do
gotta
sleep
empty
now.
out the
I get
ideas.
a good night's sleep.
I have a list
Yeah.
on my
You
phone
got,
now of
you,
things
you
I want to
can't go to
vibe
bed
code.
with a full brain. You got to empty that brain out.
Well, some of us have less to empty than others. Right, Derek?
Heather, you said it. You said it. I didn't say it.
No, I'm the
I
same
might have
way.
been thinking it, but it didn't.
I'm the same way. That's why we get along. Like, I gotta write it
Oh.
down when I'm thinking about it, or else, it's not hitting the grocery
Well,
list. It's not
so
hitting the things
it's
to
just
vibe
like
code
it's a
list.
shower thought, but it's a bedtime thought, right?
I blame Alex Gleason for this, our boss. I blame him because he was the first person to bring up, like, hey, you could use Shakespeare on your phone, and it's a shower idea thing, and you could just have an idea and pick up your phone, and while you're in the shower, you could just have something vibe coding while he is the first person who said that to me.
Vibe
So I blame
coding from
him.
the shower. That's a new hashtag. We got to like shower coding or something like that.
It's blame it on
I
Alex
like it.
Gleason should be another hashtag for sure.
Yeah, I like that. We could post. Shower beers where people post photos of them like drinking a beer. Shower coding. People post photos of them like vibe coding from their phones in the shower. It's going to be a new
Well,
thing.
you could use
It's going to
Nano
be a new
Banana
thing.
to make
I
that
can tell.
image. We've memed Alex Gleason
You
using
know
it.
what?
So
You could. Alex Gleason, Shakespeare, showering in full Shakespeare garb, vibe coding from his phone. I want to see that.
and it would be
You know
ready in
what?
20
Speaking
seconds.
this, yeah.
That's the best part.
You know, I think we got to go back to a little bit of Nostr conversation. I know that there's been a lot
Okay.
of Nostr talk this show,
Mhm.
but I think there's some other things that we need to talk about.
There's a lot going on with the Nostr. All right. So what's on your mind, Mr. Derek Ross? What do we need to talk about?
Well, so friend of the show, friend of Derek, Rabble
I'm
from
gonna
Nos
s-
Social, if you aren't
I'm gonna
familiar
make
with
you zap
Rabble.
me every time you say friend of the show, friend of Derek. I'm gonna make you zap me to break this habit. That's 1,000
Rab-
sats right there, buddy.
Rabble, super intelligent guy, used to be Jack Dorsey's boss back in the day. Very early on in ODO, and then became Twitter, and he's been all around the social verse and doing a lot of cool stuff across the the technological landscape over the past 2 decades. Rabble from Nos Social, Rabble Labs, he posted a response to a question about his podcast. So Rabble has the Revolution.social podcast, which I'll show his podcast for a second. It's great. You should listen to it. He talks about this social media Bill of Rights and essentially hashes this conversation out with people that are involved in the social landscape. And people on his show, he talks about decentralization and censorship resistance and owning your identity, owning your content, freedom of algorithms, all this other stuff that I think that a lot of us truly believe in. And most of his guests are like, yeah, that's because, this is cool that Bluesky is doing that, or yeah, Mastodon does that, or and they talk about the app protocol. They talk about ActivityPub, which is the Mastodon protocol. And then Rabble, I would say 99% of the time, he chimes in, oh yeah, and Nostr's doing this.
Yeah, go
and that's
Rabble.
Great. And then his guests kind of just gloss over it. No guests respond to ever talk about Nostr. And Rabble brings it, like, it's not a Nostr podcast. I get it. So Rabble brings it up whenever it's appropriate. He'll say, hey, Bluesky does it this way, Nostr does it this way. Or he'll say, oh yeah, that's why it's so good that we have decentralization like Bluesky and Nostr. And he always mentions Nostr when appropriate, but his guests never respond about Nostr. And that's what he was asked about.
Because they don't know
saying,
about
why don't your guests ever talk about Nostr? And he had a very nice, very long-winded response. I'm not going to read all of it here, but I'll just go over a couple key points and then we can talk about each one. So he said that, that they all love Nostr and Nostr's great. I was like, well, do they though? Because they didn't talk about it. But anyways,
do they use it?
said that there's some frustration with the way that, user accounts and logins work, that, it's very foreign to understand these cryptographic keys. And I get that. It is. I think that's a pain point. I think I agree there that can be something that should be improved upon and iterated. And I think that there's been conversations about this. Like, Heather, you're really used to using an email and password because that's what you've used for the past 2 decades.
Yes.
So there's been some, I'll say, some traction to kind of replicating that to where you would use I'll call it an NSEC bunker, a provider that manages and holds your NSEC securely for you, so you could log in with a username and password. Essentially, you would log in like with an email and a password, and
it's a lot to explain
they would
to
do
people.
the authorizations for you. But that so this login method hasn't been fully fleshed out yet. There was a couple clients like a year ago that had this working, like Flare.pub and Troop, but it was really early and there's been no work on it. So anyways, there is an issue here, right? Like, it could be better. It's too foreign. So I agree there.
Mm-hmm.
Now, he said that a lot of them feel like Nostr isn't a place for them because there's a lot of Bitcoin talk and a lot of Nostr talk.
Totally get that.
And I agree. We essentially say, yay, Nostr is good and yay, Bitcoin is good all day long. And then there's a whole bunch of adjacent, conversations.
The early adopters were
Nostr's
very into these
bad.
things. No, and it also doesn't mean that there's
Nostr's bad, and it doesn't mean other conversations. Somebody has to be first. Somebody has
other conversations
to lead the way.
There are people who post all kinds of things that they're interested in.
Whether
flowers,
we see surfing and food and travel.
Surfing, travel, yoga, cats,
there's a lot of art,
dogs.
music.
A lot of art and music. A lot of
cats
people
are
post
a
about
given.
books.
Everybody talks about cats on the internet.
Yeah, and a lot of personal
I haven't
development
actually
stuff.
seen books. Okay.
I've seen
Okay.
some people talk about books. Show me your stack, baby. Show me your book stack. That is, hey.
Well, he said that they
But
see
yeah,
Nostr as a Bitcoin place, but that doesn't mean that
mhm,
it can't be other things. It's just we're
right.
I
We were
say
the first
we as in the
nerds.
Bitcoin crowd is the prominent
Yeah,
the first nerds to use it. We just
yeah,
need our second wave of nerds.
yeah. And
Like
I think Nostr.
bring on more.
The point is we need you to come there and be the first to talk about whatever crazy thing hasn't been talked about yet. And I think most common interests have probably been talked. We've got a guy that does yo-yo tricks. God, those are so cool. I can't do what
Mike
he does.
Monty. Yeah.
Mike Monty, yes, who
Yeah.
also vibe codes. And like he does the yo-yo tricks
Friend of
and
the
things.
show.
And friend of the show, friend of Derek, that's another like 1,000 sats, bro. You're gonna make me rich. Gonna be buying dinner at
No,
Nostr Valley.
Mike's really hit. I'll tell you what. Find Mike Monty. Watch his yo-yo videos.
That is his
It's
username,
wild.
right? Yeah. Find Mike Monty. Is
Yes.
it Mike Monty, all one word, if I remember correctly? Yeah. Find the yo-yo guy. Probably if you
Yes.
look for yo-yo, he'll probably come up because he's like the one and only yo-yo guy.
We probably don't have a whole lot of yo-yoers yet. He said he
No.
was going to onboard the yo-yoers, though. So,
Yeah.
6 months from now, we'll revisit this and be like, man, look at all the yo-yoers we got.
Yeah. Well, you know who did a great job was Matthias
Yo-yoster will be like popping off the charts.
I think Matthias McIntyre did a great job. He's playing the fiddle and he's doing concert music. I think I might have mentioned him before in passing, but he kind of embraced Nostr. He got on and said, like, I'm going to make a video every day for 28 days. And he did. And this was the first musician
Awesome.
I've seen who said, you know what, I'm going to just do this consistently and see what happens. And he got almost like 350 followers as a brand new person with nothing to go on. He started this Nostr identity, this, we'll call it an account. So it's a familiar, piece of language, but he started it. And a month later, he's got 350 followers. I haven't seen too many people jump on Nostr and do that. Sometimes it is hard to get a following, but I would say in all of social media, following doesn't matter anymore. Just get on there, make friends, curate your feed, and you have the ability to, I don't know, kind of like change the direction of Nostr right now because it is that new. We are so early. And if you want to come in and do yo-yos or fiddle music or I don't know, like I teach yoga there. So whatever thing it is that you have to offer and you want to find other people who are like
you can
that.
bring your community to Nostr.
Yes.
Right?
You can just move on over.
Like let's say that I'm into I don't know, you said yoga, so I'm into yoga. Maybe there's not a massive yoga community here, but that doesn't mean I can't tell all of my friends, "Hey, I'm moving over here, yoga people. Let's try this out." And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work, but you have to give it that try. You have to actually put in some proof of work and you actually have to try. Otherwise, you'll never know.
Somebody has to go first. And but for me with what I did with yoga, which you can find under like #YogaStir, is I started just doing it every week with just, I'm going to be consistent and do it every Monday at 5 p.m. And I did. And then, people found it and not everybody came every single week. We got a core group to come in and then some more people. Anna came in and she started taking the class and she's a yoga person too. So when I had to give up the class, she took it over. So that was great. So we built a community. And so when I had to give up my yoga class, because of a schedule thing, there were enough people to take it over. And she's not the only other yoga teacher. There's plenty of yoga teachers. There's a lady that does Ayurveda, and she started an Ayurveda podcast. So you can find that on, I forget the name of it. So I should have. I'm just good on my memory here.
So let's talk about the next pain point here that Rabble brought up.
Oh,
he
yes.
said that
Let's get back to
folks
this.
love zaps. He said he's heard from board members and executives of Bluesky that they want zaps.
They want
he said
the zaps.
that, but folks don't like Bitcoin and Bitcoin content, but they want the functionality. So now I'm wondering, did they say they actually liked zaps, or did they say that they liked the idea of micropayments?
Do they want payments?
If they don't
tips?
like Bitcoin, yeah, I
or
could
do
be
they
wrong,
not?
but in my opinion,
No.
they probably want micropayments. They're not going to do Bitcoin. They're not going to
because
they like the idea of the micropayments. I don't know how they're going to do it with
the B
US
word
dollars
has
though. How you going to do that?
Well, somebody, I don't know, because the B word has a certain connotation to it. There's a certain stigma around
Yeah,
anything with
well, Heather, I
Bitcoin.
would like you to send me a penny. Can you do that? Like,
Probably find some
can you
change on
send
the
like
floor in here.
how can you send me a 2 cents?
You really
Yeah,
can't. I mean,
like
because isn't
that's
there
a
a minimum
microtransaction. Like, can you
charge
do that
on?
with PayPal? Can you send me 4 cents, please?
I don't know,
I
but
want you to try. Like, I don't know how you're
right.
gonna do that. Like, Bitcoin is perfect for it.
That's why I want to
Sorry,
try
I
to.
just
He went on his soapbox there. I think the thing there's I
I
think Blue
did.
Sky is
I like
very
going on my soapbox.
it leans a certain political way, and I think that political persuasion has a certain way of seeing crypto and Bitcoin at large and lumps the two things together.
Yeah,
Crypto and Bitcoin are not the same thing, like, yes, Bitcoin is a cryptocurrency, that would be factually correct, but what the crypto arena has turned into is rather unhelpful and disgusting, and there's a lot of rug pulls there, so we're not into that, because
yeah,
Bitcoin is not at all that.
yeah.
But you can't explain that to the people at large, because everything becomes identity politics now, and so whether people want zaps or not on any platform, the fact of the matter is it works best, again, micropayments. If I want to send Derek 21 sats to be a smartass and leave a comment on one of his posts in that way, which I like to do to you and some other of my people, it is simple and quick and easy and built into Nostr. So I don't know how you put that layer into Blue Sky. I don't know how you do that anywhere else. But then you have to teach people
I
how to
I
do
don't
it.
know if
And
they can do it easily.
yeah, you have to teach people the idea, like it's a concept, because everybody thinks that they're going to get on the internet anymore, and they're going to get on Twitter or Facebook or whatever, and they're going to influence engagement, and they're going to get likes, or they're going to go viral. And that's just not how any of those platforms work anymore. And so instead of fighting an algorithm, the principle of Nostr is just do your thing, be yourself, put up your content, whether it's written, video, audio, whatever. It all works on Nostr. Put it out there, and if people like it, they're gonna zap it, and that kind of can make it trend, a little bit. Like we say, I struggle with this one, because we say Nostr has no algorithms, but in a way, there's a couple kind of algorithms. Like if I get
Well, we have
some,
algorithms. We just don't have
yeah, like
algorithms at the
the way
protocol
that,
level, and that's actually
yeah,
the next point. The next point here is that Rabble said we have a love and hate relationship with algorithms. I think we
mm-hmm,
do, but I think that
mm-hmm.
there's nothing inherently wrong with algorithms. It's when algorithms are closed and there's no user choice
It's
that
when
they're
they
bad.
control
But if
us instead of
algorithms are
us.
open, well,
Yeah.
if algorithms are open and transparent and allow user choice, I think they can be great. So
Yeah.
we have these kind of algorithms called DVMs. I won't get into
Oh God, I don't
all
even
the
know what that is.
nerdiness of it, but
Like, I've heard the term, but I can't explain it.
it's a data vending machine. Data vending machine.
Oh
So
God, we
these
can't come up with something
DVMs,
better.
think of it as think of it as bots. Think of it as bots that just return information.
Okay,
That's
well,
all you need to know.
how about in human
So
language? For me, it's like when I see something is trending for 24 hours on Primal, that would be a DVM, correct?
they
In human
migrated
terms.
over to DVMs, yeah. So
Okay.
Primal's trending algorithms, they're 4-hour, 24-hour, weekly, whatever. All of their
Mm-hmm.
algorithms are now DVMs, and that's fine because they're running them. But we have dozens of other DVMs, and I use some of them. But unfortunately,
Hmm.
DVMs are sometimes slow, and nobody wants to request a certain type of feed and then wait 10 seconds for that feed to appear. I know in the grand
That's
scheme of
true.
things, 10 seconds is no big deal, but we want it to be a second or two. Like we want to
Like
click on this feed and
we
have
don't
it
live in a
show.
10-second
If I have to
world.
wait 10 seconds, I'm going to get upset and I'm going to try to view another feed.
I'm gonna quit.
That's
Yeah, I'm
just
gonna
how
go
it
and move
is.
out. Yeah, we live in a split-second world,
So
not a 10-second world.
DVMs are slow, and that's why some apps don't use them, or they
Mm-hmm.
decide to implement their own so they can be in control of the infrastructure themselves.
Think
So DVMs aren't bad either. It's just in a decentralized manner, you don't know who's running that DVM and what resources they're throwing at it. So you decide to run your
Yeah.
own DVM.
I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think it was Rabble that said this once upon a time, that you would be able to maybe, build your own community and choose your own algorithm. Like maybe there would be an algorithm marketplace at some point, that because like you can build anything on Nostr,
Yeah,
anything
we've
is
talked about
possible.
this for years
Hmm.
since the very beginning. I remember Will said this back probably in February, March of
And you mean
2023 when
Will
things were
the
really kicking off.
developer, Will from
Will
Damas developer?
Casserin, yeah,
Okay.
yeah, Will the developer, Will Casserin from Damas JB55, he said that someday he hoped there'd be an algorithm store, and we actually
Hmm.
have that now. There are multiple apps that have this. The best one is Primal. They call it the feed marketplace, and you can
Hmm.
go in and view all these different DVM feeds, and you can choose which one you want. You can choose your own algorithm, and then you can apply it to your home feed, and you can cycle through them. So you can already do this today. A couple other apps have this as well, but Primal, by far, in my opinion, does it the best out
I
of all
think
of the
that
choices.
after 20 years of being force-fed certain things on every social media platform and not being able to build on any of them and make it anything that we want, it's a foreign concept to adopt something like Nostr, where like you can build anything you want on it. You can any kind of app you can build because it's great technology. And if you do want to use the social media side of it, there are so many choices for you. Just where do I even sign in to start? And then how do I curate my feed and make things the way I want them to?
Well,
It's refreshing.
curating your feed means that we need to have content discovery tools. And I think that we're across the board failing at that right now. We're not as bad as, we were 2 years ago, not even a year ago. We're constantly improving, and it's a slow uphill battle. I think that content discovery has improved, but think that we still can do a lot better. Once we have better content discovery to bring and surface content, then curating your feed will be easier. Because right now, people, I think that it's the same people talking over again. They can't find new people. User discoverability is hard. Once we solve those issues, I think that people will see more of a variety of content, that we do actually have a variety of content. But since we don't surface this variety of content well, you don't know it's out there.
Yeah, and if you're listening to this 3 months from now, that might have changed. We we may
Absolutely.
may have added an events feed, for example, which
So I think what we're saying is that, we're going to say the meme here, Heather. We are still early.
we are still
Nostr, according to Hodlbod, Nostr is a 10-year project, and we're only a few years into it. So we're really early, and it's going to take
10
a while, but
years.
we're constantly getting better. And one of the best times to find out what's happening in Nostr and how Nostr is getting better and how it's growing is to attend a meetup and a live event, such as
Hey.
Nostr Valley, that's coming
Yes,
up
that's a nice
in a
segue
month.
into our event
Yeah.
coming
Did
up.
you like that? Did you like that?
I like that. I knew you were going to get there. So there we go. Nostr Valley is actually you are the person putting on Nostr Valley. It's you and what,
Yes,
Seth?
myself and Seth. Yeah,
Hmm.
we're putting this on in a month in the heart of central Pennsylvania, where Penn State University is. We're going to have the Penn State Defy Bitcoin Club there, learning about Nostr and learning about real world use cases of Bitcoin, such as value for value. We're going to have some people from the Value for Value verse there, and some developers and vibe coders there talking about what they've been building in this space. So definitely come and check it out. Last year we had some alpha coming out of there and some announcements, and I'm hoping we have some
Oh
as
yeah.
well. That's October 18th, nostrvalley.com.
I'll be there. Ainsley Costello will be there. Open Mike will be there. Derek Ross will be there. Seth will be there. I haven't met Seth in person yet, so I'm excited to meet Seth. And I
He's a
think
good guy.
Dan, my friend Dan, who's come to my yoga classes forever, he's
Dan
going
will
to come
be
out.
there.
Who else? Who else is confirmed?
Ian and Mandana will be there.
Oh, good. I want to meet Ian and Mandana because they're building something called Next Block, and that is very
Yes.
cool. That isn't
They
it?
yeah, their presentation with NextBlock last year was great. I'm really curious how far they've come over the past year. I really want to
I
see.
saw a video
NextBlock
that
is
Mandana
really
made.
exciting.
Yeah, it's an attention marketplace. So like instead of just being
Yeah.
like force-fed ads that you never make money off of, they're gonna actually have you watch the ad and make money for watching an ad. Like your attention is for sale. Like you're not gonna be watching ads against your will anymore. So I definitely want to see where that idea has come to this year. That's gonna be cool.
Well, Heather, before we wrap this up, you know what we need to do and we didn't do yet? We need to read out the boosts. I got them right
Yes.
here. I'm just gonna go.
Go for it.
So last week, these are our boosters that sent us some of their hard-earned sats on Fountain. Now, I will start off by saying I posted on Nostr saying if you boost this episode, I will read your boost on air. And friend of the show, friend of Derek, Chad F., he said, I'm going to boost this show on all the different apps out there. So he started boosting on like Podverse and Podguru, and he made it really hard. I mean, thank you for the support, Chad. Thank you for the sats, but I can't read all of those, man. I'm not like Superman. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say thank you. It's going to be like, it's like a blanket. Yeah. I've talked about you now for like 30 seconds. So let me go on. Thank you, Chad. Thank you, Chad.
Thank you, Chad.
So we have 100 sats from Ferio Voltaire. Thank you very much for that. He tossed us back some sats that he earned from Fountain for listening. So he threw them back at us. Magical times, value for value, podcasting 2.0. It's lovely to have such a great product available here. Sorry if it's such a modest contribution. Hey, 100 sats is 100 sats. Thank you.
Dude, like,
Q&A,
yeah, we love it.
Q&A says, wake up, babe. There's a new Nostr podcast to add to your feed. And he tagged me on Nostr. Q&A, thank you very much.
Very cool.
We have JBN. Well said, y'all. Thanks, JBN. Friend of the show. Friend of Vibe Coding Sessions.
Yeah, he comes
hanging out
with us. Yeah.
Mark gave us 210 sats. He says, I took a short video of Sarah Jade playing at Las Vegas, and Derek walked into the frame to zap her. He commented that when we were talking about value for value. So that was value for value in action. He actually captured that. Peter says he raw dogs his NSEC all the time. He's got nothing to lose for 420 sats.
Living on the edge. Dude, we love you. We love you.
He is living on the edge with that.
Stop raw dogging your NSEC. Hang on to that thing.
Pleb1, 500 sats. Great chemistry with you two. Appreciate the history and the noob content. Well, thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Yeah, that guy.
Al, 870 sats. Forgot to boost. He says forgot to booze. I don't think he was going to boo us. Maybe. I think he missed the T there. Boo! I don't think so. He says forgot to booze this after my listen the other day. So I'm doing it now. Thanks for those 870 sats. And
he meant boost. He boosted.
He did.
He meant to boost.
And any others out there that we missed, it's hard in the podcasting 2.0 space to find all those boosts, to read them out. The best way to find them and read them is through Fountain. So any boosts from Fountain, we'll easily read those in the future. So thank you again for your support.
I love looking at all the boosts on Fountain so I can see who's listening, what they have to say, any complaints.
It's a nice metric. To find your audience, right?
No complaints yet, so they're coming. I'm sure somebody will complain eventually.
Someone's going to complain now. You just said it. Yeah, we need more complaints. We need constructive criticism. What are we doing wrong? What's Heather doing wrong? How should Heather improve?
Everything.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm literally like making mistakes as I go.
I know, but you owe me at least 3,000 sats for all the times you said friend of the show, friend of Derek. So that's at least 3,000 or 4,000 sats that I mentally have kept track of. So you owe me a zap now on Nostr.
So, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to crowdsource these zaps. So every single time I say that, you got to boost the show to give us some sats so I can send them to Heather.
No. It has to be Derek sats. It has to be your sats.
They are. They're going to come from my wallet.
They come from like an actual Derek wallet, not the listener wallet.
No, FBI, you can't have my actual Derek wallet address. Like, come on now.
Oh my god, that's funny. Oh my god, that's great. So yeah, thank you guys for listening and boosting.
Anything we missed that we need to chat about, or are we ready to wrap this up? I think it was good. We didn't tease Act 2, but Act 2 is coming. It's coming. We're gonna dog food it.
Look,
and we're gonna be teasing it on Nostr. Follow us on Nostr. check
I'll
out
say
the
something
teases
about
that are
Act 2.
coming?
The Act 2 is going to be alive and well by the time we're at Nostr Valley. So that's the teaser. So if you're coming to Nostr Valley, there will be a little special.
Something
Act
spooky
2
going to
action.
happen there?
Maybe.
Are we going to do something spooky?
I will be in the mood to
We're
do
going to
something
hack
spooky.
away at stuff?
I think we should. I think we should get our spookiness on.
Okay.
You know, more than a pumpkin carving
The spookiness
contest.
on. Okay.
We can up level from that sort of thing. I think we can do better, Terra
Vibe
Cross.
coding a pumpkin carving contest. I like that. Okay. All right. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned. Soapbox Sessions. We're your source for all things decentralized social and AI. Thanks for watching. Peace. Pura vida.